Powerful podcast today. In this modern world, train wreck after train wreck, disaster after disaster, why people screw up every single relationship. You know, you might be a person, and what you're witnessing in the world, maybe even through your experiences, you might be kind of pulling back, maybe terrified of relationships. A lot of times I'll get questions, Michael, why do I keep attracting the same guy? Why do I keep getting the same guy? Got another one, brother. Did it again. Well, in today's lesson, using psychology, energy, frequency, and vibration, understanding the energies of the masculine and the feminine, I'm going to be teaching the world why, when you look out into society today, disaster after disaster, why are people constantly screwing up every single relationship? And you might be live as I'm giving this podcast, and you could say, you know what? Yeah, I'm noticing this in the world. And there is a constant loop. And when we dive deep into the psychology, when we dive deep into the frequency, okay? So if you are a person, there's all different types of people that are tuned in. All right. Now, if you might have one bad relationship, that is part of our journey, right? You might deal with the covert narcissist one time, but when you're looking out in the world, right? And that's why it's important that you are listening to this podcast, maybe taking notes, going on the inside, doing the inner work, because a healed person, a person that is doing daily work, they will never get involved with the constant screw up relationship. And you could see it. You could see a person. So there's people that are, they are healed, they're listening. Or maybe you're a person, you said, you know what? I'm ready to do better. I want to understand why I keep attracting the same guy, or I keep attracting the same parasitical woman in my everyday life. And when we think about first, what is the inner chat or the inner talk that you have? What is your frequency level? All right. So in the world, there's going to be two things that are going to determine, who you're going to attract into your everyday life. First, you want to focus on the programs that society gave you. And certain people actually have a program running in the background of I do not deserve. And you might self-sabotage. If you are a woman, you might run away from a healed, strong, divine masculine, and you constantly go, because through society, you go for a weak-minded man that you can control instead of a man that could actually protect you. And this is a deep-rooted problem in the nervous system. I've done a full video on the nervous system when it comes to relationships. If you're a guy and you're not comfortable standing alone, constantly needing arm candy to validate yourself, well, you're going to constantly attract the same type of woman. And I've seen this, as I share, through firsthand experience, all of these concepts that I'm bringing today, it's a constant loop. It's always the same. It's a subconscious program. It's an NPC running in the background. And this is why time after time, it is always the frequency. And if you say, okay, why is this person constantly screwing up every relationship? Because you're constantly It is the frequency where you go to where a simp or a beta male will always link up with a parasitical female covert narcissist, or whatever the term is. It is always the frequency. So if your frequency is here, if in your psychology you say, I do not deserve true love, you're always, every single time, 100% of the time, you're going to attract that same type of relationship in your everyday life. You know, when you think about, frequencies, using a different topic, this is shown with people hitting the lotto. Oh, they have all the money in the world, right? But a lot of them constantly go bankrupt because they didn't work their inner frequency. In today's lesson, we're fixing the brain. We're fixing our internal frequency. So then finally, we're not going to screw up. We're not going to get involved with constant loops of relationships. So that is that background in the subconscious. That's why, you'll see, a broken woman run through all these weak beta males and simps, constantly draining them one after the other. You'll see the fake, not strong masculine, right? But you'll see that beta male constantly putting on an image that's actually not truthful, and it will constantly run through and go from one to the next to the next. And it's constantly train wrecks, and it's constantly looping. So in today's talk, we're going to have to break free of this. Denchi Pool, thank you so much for the super chat. I'm so grateful for the support. I appreciate everyone being here. If you like this podcast already, I appreciate if you hit the like button, okay? No matter the time or the place, it is always the same. And I've seen this over the years. And it always comes from doing the inner work. If you do the inner work first, and then you attract the correct man or woman, or whoever you are wanting to attract into your everyday life, when you spend time alone and you are knowing thyself. So Carl Jung calls this the process of individuation. And too many people in the world, they don't do the process of individuation. They listen, and this happens a lot in the modern society with the modern woman. They listen to the hyena clique, and they're actually getting programs from other broken women, and they keep looping the same thing. There's some, weak-minded men that they're constantly, they have to be validated, and they might use money to attract a woman, and then all of a sudden they lost half their pension. So in this lesson today, we have to stay focused on, if you say to yourself, you know what, I'm done with it. I'm done with keep getting the same loser boys that can't think for themselves. That's for our divine feminine. I'm done with constantly being taken advantage of with the female covert narcissist parasite. If you're done with these things, this is the message that you want to tune into today. Humanity's Red Ball, thank you so much for the super chat. Coffee is on me this morning. Grand Rising, I'm so grateful for the super chat. Thank you so much. So this is, when you see the differentiation and you go through this in the modern society, and you are never going to be fulfilled. It's always going to be the same loop. It's always going to be the same type of guy or gal according to your frequency. And the first thing that you're going to have to focus on, why this happens. You might say, Uncle Mike, well, why does this happen? If a man is too much in the feminine, or if the woman is too much in her masculine. So if you want to be that, you think you know it all, you want to be okay. You want to take, you want to take advantage of men. Okay. You want to be in control. That's cool. You're constantly, you can only attract a simp. You can only attract a weak man. You can never have a divine masculine at that frequency level. So if you're new to the channel, and again, I'm Michael, I discuss the ascension journey, and I make the lessons relevant for everyday life people. So when you think about your frequency, that is, and I use this term embodiment to teach the people, you are the embodiment of. That is your frequency level. You have to really understand the law of correspondence. So if you are at that level, you will constantly attract that weak man, that weak boy, and you will never have a divine masculine. The other day, I met a new friend through a mutual friend. We had a conversation, and he also is a person, and we had like myself, that is single, and he always gets this this question. Well, I don't understand why you're single. And we had this deep conversation, and I told him about my story, and that I used to live in a totally different place. And whether I'm in New York or Florida, regardless of the season, regardless of the time, it's always the same. So when a man is healed, right, we'll take the lens of the divine masculine first. When the divine masculine, right, and we all quickly, real fast, if you have one person in your life, you had that experience. It's only one time. That's not a loop. That's your lesson in life. We all have that lesson. And a divine masculine like myself, I could look back at a relationship and I could say, you know what, I'm grateful for that relationship. And the men and the women, right? If you're a person out there and you say, oh, all guys are the same, and you go in that loop, or if you're a guy and you say all women are the same, that's not healed. We are who we are. And we see that polarization on social media in the modern society. Not all women are the same, and not all guys are the same. So if you are able to sit back and have a conversation and say, you know what, I'm grateful for the lessons from that one experience, and then we learned from it. We're not influenced by it, and you're learning, right, what is appropriate for a relationship in your everyday life. Portia Bull, thank you so much for the super chat, sister. Let's go. Yeah, we're gonna get LFG going in the comments today. LFG's trending in the comments. All right. So so if you are the parasitical woman, you over the course of time, you don't want to listen, and you constantly want to do the same thing, and you hop from beta male to beta male, simp to simp. You take control, you reap and consume. You steal half of this guy's pension. You stole half of this guy's pension. Maybe you popped out a couple of kids, right? So what you have done over the course of time, that has become your frequency, and you are the embodiment of this level. You will so now in the future, you can never attract a frequency that is much higher, that is the divine masculine. If you are the fake beta male, that and they could make an appearance, they could take all this stuff to look so big, right? They could have that fancy truck, right, ladies? Are you out there, my divine feminine? How you doing? How you doing? So now you are the masculine, or not masculine, the more of a grandiose narcissist. So when you analyze and you study society, for the most part, like those beta males are actually the grandiose narcissists, and most of the parasitical females are the covert narcissists. That's just how we represent ourselves, utilizing the energies. And so now you took advantage of this girl, right? And then you left, and then you took advantage of this one. You could never, you could never attract a real, actual divine feminine. Okay, you could put the violet flame in the chat if the divine feminine is hearing this. So in our lives, when you look into the modern society and you see people constantly screw up every single relationship, loop after loop, Whether I'm in one location, I could be in Florida or New York, and it's always you. It's always the person. It's always a program. It's always a loop. And if you cannot fix the internal frequency, which is the embodiment, you will always, time and time again, you will always attract the same relationship. Now, if you have done the process of individuation, that's what Carl Jung calls it. If you've done the inner work, if you're healed, right? So now you will go through a time period where, and you meet people on your journey, but you know, right, what you will tolerate and what you will not tolerate in your everyday life. And you are at a frequency, and you can only attract a fellow person, a divine masculine or feminine, that is also healed. And when you are healed and strong, and that's the inner work, you can't do this. You can't hear who you truthfully are going through the constant loop. So in your life, the subconscious is more important than the which is, constantly think consciously every single day. And time again, if you never took a time out and actually did the inner work, and I will see this over the years, and you'll always see that. So you could go out in the world, and I've had this conversation with many of my brothers as well, and you could see a beautiful healed couple. And then you could see the train wrecks. Then you could see the disasters. I'm here to tell you, I don't care what anyone else says. If you're in a healthy relationship, it never takes quote unquote work. It's never struggle. You never have to get this through your head. You never have to go to couples counseling. Never. And it's always doing the inner work first. It's always understanding that this is your frequency, that you do deserve. So this goes both ways. You could have the psychology, you could be a great person, but broken friends, broken people on the TV gave you that program of I do not deserve, all men are the same, right? All girls are the same, right? Or it is actually your content of character. And over the course of time, like some people don't want to fix it, and that's cool, because if you don't want to be, a lot of people look into modern woman, very stubborn, wants to keep going forward, and that's cool. Over the course of time, it becomes your frequency. And how many people have you done that to, right? The simps of the world, they want the quick fix. They can't stand alone. Over the course of time, when you disrespected enough women, that's become your frequency. I hope everyone's hitting the like button for this one today. Because, I see it day in, day out. Train wreck after train wreck. And that's why more and more people are pulling themselves back, because you don't need that validation. You don't need to just fill a void. Some people only need to fill a void because they actually don't love themselves. So, and we see this heightened now because of the ways of the modern world, because of the ways, right, of social media did a devastation. Okay. The chat is erupting right now. I appreciate everyone, right? No, this is what we have to focus on. So it's always you, and it's always that program. And this message, right, is for those people that prior to you going into the train wreck, prior to you smashing your life, you understand this. Because over time and time again, it becomes, right, I shared recently the becoming. So when we're looking into modern society and we're seeing that, relationship after relationship, and you could leave comments on this video. All right. Maybe you You constantly went through multiple relationships, and especially for our men. So having this conversation, and he was sharing about his brother, and his brother has those feminine attributes. His brother was disrespectful to his mother, and he shared. I share this. I have a very close relationship with my sibling, my sister. I think she's watching right now. So it's very difficult for people. That's. I talk about everything on this channel. You can click subscribe. That sibling of yours is the closest thing to you. So it is very difficult to have like a strained relationship with your sibling. I love you too. There she is. There she is. Always judge, if you're the divine feminine, always judge a man maybe with the relationship that they have with their sister and or mother, not by strangers on the internet. That's the main thing. So he was sharing and how his brother disrespectful to the mother. He gets eviscerated by his wife, runs the show, doesn't contribute. The wife's doing everything, right? Not the nastiest thing, right? And he went through a relationship, and he's also he sees things that I'm not going to get involved in. So and I share my journey, and it's always this. How many guys out there? How many healed divine masculine are out there? And you get this quote: "How are you still single? How are you still single? How are you still single?" So when you go through the process of individuation, when you are healed, you don't tolerate the female covert narcissist. You don't need garbage in your everyday life. You don't need it. So that and when we're seeing this deterioration of society, and you're constantly seeing, you don't need train wrecks in your life. Don't need it. You might be the beautiful divine feminine. How you doing? You don't need no simp in your life to validate you. Right, soul sister? Right? And if you are seeing me for the first time and you see how I present these topics, you must, to be a total, complete person, you must understand both the masculine and feminine attributes and aspects, and seeing it from both lenses. And that's what I said earlier. When you are a broken woman and you say all guys are the same, you're lost. And that's your frequency. You're done. You're finished. And I've seen it. I'm sure other masculine, and you're being disrespected because of your previous relationships. Wrong. You're out. Okay. If you think, brothers, all girls are the same, and you're going to keep attracting it. I encourage everyone to study the law of correspondence. It's always who we are. It's always the embodiment. So once you're the embodiment of strength, if you are the or the representation of the divine masculine, regardless of what your relationship is and what you're attracting, if you have the feminine energy, are you actually the feminine energy? Some people pretend to be the feminine, but they're not in a modern society. A lot of that comes from social media, mainstream media, movies. I did a full video on that. Movies mess up your brain. Do you know about your brain? Listen, and over the course of time, you see, and you say, oh, this is how I'm supposed to behave. Okay, go do it. See what happens. Can't save anyone, brothers. And I learned this as well, right? A lot of us, we want to be that hero, that, oh, there's a special person. You have a connection. No, you got to let her wreck her life. Let her wreck her life. Hit the like button. Learn this. Because if you try, it's just, they have to be healed, period, the end. You must be, if you want a healthy relationship moving forward, you must be healed. 100, it's a 100%er. Okay? McDura writes, inner healing is crucial. 100%. That's why I use this phrase, it's always you. So when you say, oh, I keep getting the same guy, why do I keep? It's you all the time. So we're going to take a little time out. We're going to work on our inner self. We're going to fix the brain. We're going to fix our nervous system. And then we're going to attract. And then we're going to attract. And then content of character as well. In a modern society, right, there are guys that, they're just using women, right, for certain things, or maybe they aged a little bit and then they toss them out. So that's your karma. You're collecting it. If you are the parasitical woman in a modern society, you stole half that guy's pension. Then you go on to the next one. You stole half that guy's pension, and you're sitting there, and it's a train wreck devastation. And your nervous system, you're never going to be settled. So that's why this message is going to help so many people. You have to understand, because it's not just, let me get in a relationship. You have to know the ins and outs. And you have to work on your content of character, not going to what they tell you to do on the TV. The influencers of the world. Now I'm the influencer of the world. How you doing? Okay. Portia Bull, thank you so much for the super chat. God, family, and self. Thank you so much. I'm so grateful for the support there. I love you. So in life, in any attribute, and that's why it's always the same. And that's why I teach about subconscious programming. If you keep looping, if you keep getting you get a new guy, new simp, new beta male, because you want to be in your masculine, because you think you're going to run the show, because you think you're going to control, and what healed man, you could get a simp, no problem. You will get the beta male all the time. You don't have to question it. Anyone that knows this doesn't have to question it. You see it. You're going to know them by their fruits. And you're all going to get the same thing. Okay, Humble Bee, she's laughing, right? Now, this is the truth, right? If you're new to the channel, I teach the truth here, all right? It's always the same thing. It's always the same. And if you're a guy, if you think you're just going to go for looks, if you are a guy, listen, we all want someone that's healthy. There's an attraction there. But if you only care, listen to the message. If you only care about looks, if you are controlled and or manipulated by lust, you're done. You're done. So, and when you tune into my lessons every day moving forward, and it doesn't matter, when you want to be better in life, okay? This is an empowerment channel. If you want to be better in life, you have to focus on your 4 pillars, okay? Your health, your wealth, your relationship, and your purpose, and your focus there. That's why I'm at the place that I am in my life. I don't allow anything outside of my frequency throw me off where I'm headed. Those are your 4 pillars. And if you're lost in any one of those, and that this pillar of relationship is a little different because you're dealing with someone else. However, if you actually, it's always you. So it's always your frequency. So that girl that you have next to you can only be there according to your frequency. If you are the woman and you're looking at that, once again, another one, that boy is only next to you because of your frequency. So it's still on the inside. And it is the correlation, the inner frequency, the inner work, the outer world is a reflection of your inner world. And if you're a man, you cannot be controlled by lust. If you're a woman, just because you're gonna get. Let me talk to you, okay? Gather around, ladies, okay? Let me tell you something. You're gonna get dozens and dozens and dozens of the beta males, the simps, the weak men on the floor. They're the lowest part of society. You'll get them. And in this modern society, when you go on Instagram and you inflate your ego, you go in the workplace and here's these 4 over here, right? Then you go to the gym and here's these lurkers. Here's these 4 little beta males lurking all over you, lusting over you. You get them. And when you move forward in your life, and then you're going to question and complain, and you say, "Well, why am I in this position? Why is it train wreck after train wreck? Why is it disaster after disaster? It's always that internal frequency all the time. And that's why if you are a woman, you have to look for a man that is driven by purpose, not driven by lust. Look at the modern society. What's those big apps that everyone's going to today, right? So when you think about what is the loop, and time again, when it's always the same, regardless of the location, regardless of the time, and I'm here to tell both the divine masculine and feminine. You first of all, you do not accept it. If you're out there, brothers, right? And a lot of healed men like myself, we see these clowns out there. Do you see the clown ladies out there? I don't have time for crap in my life, right? No, what they do is, right, they can feel you. They could say, I can't control this man because they're a narcissist. And then they're going to go out into life. And then they're going to get their life destroyed. Maybe pop out a couple of kids. Then they want to come back to you later in life. Oh, will you take me into your life now? What the heck do I need that for? No, I need the divine feminine. I need to have someone that authentically loves me and loves the man that I am. Not someone that just is maybe you try to use your body parts, your lust, and control the. No, we don't need those train wrecks in our life. We don't need those train wrecks in our life. Hit the like button. If you're the divine feminine, right? Yeah, he's a guy, he's got all the money, right? Oh, don't worry, sweetheart. Don't worry, sweetheart. I got the money here. Right? Well, they do the same loop, right? They're not, and you could see this on social media. They take all this stuff. They go, I'm going to get so big, right? And then 2 years from now, they're broken down on a couch. Oh, but I thought I had you didn't feel the frequency, sweetheart. You didn't feel the frequency, sweetheart. And when we go out in life, that's why I'm always sharing about what are the concepts, the subconscious programs that men and women run. And this is always going to be those characteristics. A lot of people are resonating with my video, the NPCs of the world. And the NPCs of the world, they run off a program. I see it all the time. It's a constant loop. And time reveals all. What's up, Cristal 444? We're popping bottles, baby. I appreciate everyone being here. It's a big one today. So when you understand the psychology, it constantly screwing up the relationship, constantly in the train wreck, so that is coming from your subconscious. You are programmed at a specific frequency. You could I was going to say screenshot this. You could clip this. You want to put it on a billboard. You're going to come back to this year and year and year, and it's never going to change. At your frequency, the law of correspondence, this is why if you don't do the inner work, if you're not walking in content of character, you're always going to get the same type of beta male simp in your life, or you're constantly going to attract the same female covert narcissist, parasite, Jezebel spirit, whatever the terms are you like to use. I use different modalities to teach everyone in the world. And all these things are the same frequency. So when we understand the frequency and moving forward, you got to understand what's running in your subconscious. And when you go through this process, and Carl Jung calls this the process of individuation, then once you do that, then you attract it in at a frequency that is your match. If you said if it's train wreck after train wreck, the same type of guy or gal, that is your frequency match. So you have to overcome it by doing the inner work all the time. And it's never going to change. So at that level, that is the frequency. What is the subconscious programs running in the background? And social media really wrecked this. And this is a very potent message today because look at the world. Relationships are fading and failing faster and faster. People are programmed for that instant gratification. Go on to the next thing, the next cool thing. And they're never satisfied and they're never settled. And in the world, God actually had an algorithm. That's why many, if there was like years ago, you used to have a divine counterpart or someone you met through a divine, meeting. And people are, instead of running together, they're running apart because it's that internal frequency and it's repellent. So that's the backwardsness. I did the full video. It will pop up at the end here of your nervous system. So your nervous system, when you actually have, someone that is of high caliber, your nervous system is wired to identify that as a threat. Did you ever learn that? You watch my video on the nervous system. So anyone that is really, you say, you know what, we're going to change our lives. Okay, Hunt writes, I attract with what I align. And when you do this inner work, you can't ever tolerate or you will never attract. And that's why you don't have to worry about it anymore. When you don't have to fill the void, when you're able to stand alone, the strongest ones are the ones that could stand alone. And it's very potent. So really focus on, if you could say to yourself, because everyone could benefit from this. You could critique your own life. Everyone is going to have a situation. And if you're healed, you say, I know what I learned. I know what I learned from this relationship. And therefore, and I'm grateful for that relationship and what it taught me. And then I don't attract it into my life anymore. But if you are the person, if you screw up every relationship, here comes the wrecking ball, bro. Here she comes, wrecks this guy's life. Here's the wrecking ball. Here it wrecks this life. And we have a buddy still in the same situation. 6 years. 6 years. If you are constantly going through the same thing, sometimes in life, like maybe this video encourages you to let go. Maybe it's time to finally let go. Maybe it's time to say it's no more of this. Maybe you have to realize a lot of this comes from this. It comes from my big hammer. Yeah. Are you worthy? And upon the moment when you realize your worth, you will never have a bad relationship ever again. You never will. It comes from your worth. So this is a very powerful and potent message today. If it resonates with you, I'm so grateful if you click the like button and click the subscribe button. On a daily basis, we've got to really focus on our 4 pillars. So if you're on this channel, right, and we're going to learn about how to improve the 4 pillars of our life, right? Maybe you want to be healthy again, wealthy, you want a good relationship, and what is your purpose? A lot of people ask me, what am I supposed to do in life? So that is going to be revealed to you. And, every day when I wake up, regardless of what I do, I'm improving lives and I'm motivated to do these things. So that's why relationships are very important, because you can't have someone else wreck your life, bro. You can't build and build and build and have someone else, destroy your nervous system, divine feminine. And know, and this is the things I discuss on this channel. And know these things. If you are, as I said earlier, if you are the man, you are the divine masculine, embodiment of, period, the end. If you are the woman, you are the divine feminine, period, the end. You want to be in your masculine, you want to do all these catty women say this and do that and beat the man. That's cool. Any true divine masculine will never tolerate your garbage in his life. If you want, first of all, for our simps out there, you're never going to get a divine feminine to be your mommy. right? Give them the bottle, ladies. Give them the bottle. So in our lives, we're going to take ownership. We're going to do the inner work. We're going to work on our psychology. We're going to work on our inner state. We're going to be the embodiment of, which is our frequency. I am the embodiment of, and therefore only these girls I attract. And those ones that are train wrecks, they run. Train wrecks, see it, do it. Click subscribe, take the journey, and then you don't have to waste. I don't waste a second. I know them by them. It's quick. It's boom. It's boom. It's boom. And when you keep raising your frequency up higher and higher and higher, your life gets better and better and better. You don't tolerate these things anymore. I am so grateful for all of you. Check out the videos that pop up. I'm going to place the very important relationship ones. If you're here for health, wellness, we have videos for you. If you're on your ascension journey, if you're going through a spiritual awakening, this is your one-stop consciousness shop for your entire life. Let's improve our everyday lives. And when we go through this transition, you never go back. So if you've done this, you don't have to worry. Oh, thank God. You ever see that meme? Oh, thank God. You'll never, it's an instant thing. Through your frequency, I know people are new to this concept. Through your frequency, you never have to worry about that female covert narcissist ever again, that parasite. Don't worry about it, bro. It's quick. You never have to worry about, oh, I wasted my time. He was actually a simp. He was just, it's quick. It's quick, Divine Feminine. It's quick. So I love you. Aaron writes a very beautiful message. I'm so grateful for the community. Yeah, smash that like button and check out the videos, and let's improve our everyday life. I'm so grateful for all of you. Celeste Staccio, thank you so much for the super chat. I'm so grateful for the support. I love you, sister. And I'm here to support everyone's life. Let's have better relationships. Let's have a better everyday life experience. And check the videos out. We have a new video coming out on Patreon this week. New posts on Facebook. Hit me up on Facebook. Tremendous Facebook community. It's there. All the links are there. I am the defender of our everyday lives. No matter what comes your way, light warriors, just keep going. Never stop. Never wait for anyone. Keep going. And what is for you will always be for you. Love you. True love. Unconditional love. Bye for now.